some noise! So happy to see you, Burbank. Harmontown is now in session. We have a very special guest for you tonight. We have an even specialer guest for you tonight. Sitting in for Spencer Brittington, it's Steve Levy. We miss you so much, Jeff Davis. Nobody more than me. Robbie sitting in. My name is Brandon Johnson. Let's bring up the mayor of Harmontown, Mr. Dan Harmon.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't have any notes. I don't have any. There's no show. There's no show tonight. But it's a beautiful summer night. Thank you for coming out to Burbank. If you were here last week, we started. We're zeroing in on the 8 o'clock start time. This time, I believe it was our fault. I think we walked up at 8 o'clock, so I don't think we could have started the show sooner. We're battening down the hatches if that's what you do on a ship when you're making it a better ship. I think that's not what you do. I think that's what you do when a ship storm is coming.
Yeah.
Welcome, Steve. And
thank you.
Yeah, big shoes to fill. Just keep judging me. Yeah, sorry, Spencer's not here. I'll tell you some things about Spencer since he's not here. He's usually he's a libertarian. He voted for. Yeah, that misfired. So is 30% of my viewership. Listenership. Yeah, I was gonna say he's a Republican, but I thought it was too arch a joke.
Yeah.
So I tried to make something funnier, like if somebody says, how old is that? And then you could go like, 85, and it's funnier to say 27.
Unless he's 85.
Spencer's 85. And a Republican. A Nazi Republican. Not even like a log cabin, like, supportive of gay people because it makes fiscal sense Republican. Like a fucking hardcore master race Republican. And he hates the fans, hates them, doesn't like them, isn't grateful for them. He considers them a pox. And he likes dungeons a little bit, hates dragons, never uses dice. And I moved into this new space because people kept saying that were coming from out of town, I want to see Spencer. So I lifted him up and put him over there, put a mannequin behind him, and now he can't show up because you know why? You know where he is? He's whale hunting. He's out hunting whales for sport, not even for oil. He's hunting whales for sport. Do you know where he gets the oil for his whale harpoon gun, which uses twice as much oil as a whale generates? Zebra. He uses zebra oil to hunt whales for sport.
Did you tell him about the puppy dress he made? Didn't even wear it.
With his ivory sewing machine? Conflict ivory? Not regular free range, the elephant knows it's been raised to give ivory. Like actual fucking, like, there's a Gaza Strip of the ivory poachers, and I know this is challenging for you, but there's two kinds of poachers, and one is technically relative to the other kind, the good kind of poacher, and Spencer is not on their side. He exploits them. The poacher you'd feel sorry for if you were sealed in a room with only poachers and had only known them, that's the poacher that he exploits.
Right.
All right, well, so be thankful he's not here is my point. It's just little old me with his lack of a show. Oh, boy, let's go to Burbank and pay, what is it, $5 now?
Man, I snuck in.
$75? Oh, they're creeping it up. So I thought $5 was like, look, it'll be half price, like, half what they paid at Meltdown, and then we can be twice as bad, and you'll break even.
How much was that drink? Okay, we'll see.
It was an optional $1. Yeah, it cost you $1 because there was a jar that made you feel guilty. The cost of being a human is $1. The drink was free, otherwise we're under arrest.
It's the Harmontown Speakeasy.
But thank you. You're welcome here, sir. You're not mic'd, but you're welcome here. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I've been doing this thing. I ran in last minute because but this is really valuable for me. I started making these little garage band songs and music videos and putting them on Instagram, and it's been very therapeutic for me because it's not something I'm supposed to be good at. I'm not a musician.
Nope.
Wrong. I am, it turns out. No. I'm just making these goofy little songs. I'm using only the free software and only using my phone and my little earbud microphone, and anything that exceeds that, I'm like, because I want it to be a hobby, not a profession. So I'm not supposed to be good at it. So it was very relaxing to me. I was having a really good time, and it was churning out these amazing little hits.
We cannot wait.
These little
We cannot wait.
Well,
He's quite a wordsmith.
Well,
Oh, shit.
Okay, here we go.
World premiere.
it's still my other hobby, which is getting this show to the point where I can just play shit. I'm falling behind on that hobby. I can't. That'll take 10 minutes of dead air. So, yeah. I mean, if you follow me on Instagram, I just make these little ditties about taking poops and being hungover and stuff. And so I was having a good time. It would take about 2 hours to make the song, and then I'd just like run around and shoot stuff like me pooping and stuff, and then I'd like put it together in Luma Fusion, the iOS's premier nonlinear editor. We lost Brandon. We lost him. It's not a good show. No, you can go do it. You were gonna make a drink. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, it's
It's
all
all good.
We're fine.
Okay. What? Oh, you're picking the
I
thing
want
up?
to hear the story.
Well, don't pick up. That's bad optics. All right. So so I'm really relaxed. I'm happy. Then Cody gets sick. She's got like a throat thing or something, some kind of throat thing, and it's like she's quarantined, so we can't see each other. So I'm like, I'm gonna make.
Thank you, Chris.
He got the phone to work. Steve Levy is plugging in the phone for you.
Oh, you plugged in my phone, or you plugged in?
It's my phone. You're on Instagram.
Okay.
You're a public figure. That's how it works. you know.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
He got that Spencer shit down.
I've been watching a lot of Star Trek too, and it really makes me miss Spencer because the relationship between Kirk and Spock is not to endow myself as Kirk, but like the dynamic between them makes me miss Spencer a lot. But that show, like that show is straight up racist. But before you could even be regular racist, like in a millennial sense, it was like not only we'll talk about Nichelle Nichols in a second and the treatment of her character and all the women, but forget about that. We know that the '60s were an unenlightened time and that we are now living in a Camelot of progression. Historians will look back on 2017 and say they really understood. They really got it. There's going to be a hot dog on our dollar next week. It's like we might as well just do whatever we want. No one's ever going to see from history, which is what you were supposed to be doing through the canopy of fucking Trump. Like you might as well do whatever you want down here. Doop 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 doop. Women, I don't like them. No, you guys only heard that. The aliens will never hear it.
No.
They'll be watching him touch a ball with a wizard. They'll go like, these people were fascinated with this man who was so strange and wonderful, I guess, because we don't know anything. Our DNA only has 3 letters and all of them are genius, and so we have no life. We sleep for 1,000,000 years just to make bread. Because it comes all the way around. Like they're like genetically washed out. We must abduct people and replenish our DNA with ape man and cow anus.
I love this recipe already.
Part ape man, part cow anus. Try it, Blimflock. I'm feeling a little feisty. Like you could make a coffee table book? No, don't be ridiculous. I am part of the meme-nerds. Then keep trying, and I'll be back with more cow anus. But we already tried that. Shut up. So where was I? Star Trek. Yeah, well, whatever, man. But I'm saying, like, that show didn't even know that non-white people belonged on TV yet, and it was still racist because they made up a race called Vulcans, and all they did was bust his balls the whole show. Because he only had one thing about him, and he was just like, look, I have one gimmick. It's kind of easy to understand. It's sort of my religion. I have a funny haircut, pointy ears, and it's associated with the fact that I only deal in logic. I don't deal in emotion. And then they're like, okay, got it. So we understand that. So at the end of every episode, they'd be like, of course, that was kind of feelings, wasn't it, Spock? And he's like, why? He's just like, everything on his face is like, why do you do this? Why do you? Like, when is this gonna get funny? Like, I can't hear the fucking impish music. Like, I can only yes and you logically. I know that's gonna make you even funnier. But like, what if Spock was just like, you're right. Come on, guys, leave me alone. And then they'd be like, ew. And then you'd hear that like flute, that comedic Star Trek flute. But then they'd stop respecting him, right? Because he'd stop saving their life all the time, and he wouldn't be able to throw them through walls. But he, I don't know. That's how we treated exchange students. Did you have exchange students in your high school? Like there'd be some kid from they'd go like, "This is Andre. He's from fucking France."
Germany.
Yeah, okay, sure.
I mean, Germany is the easiest to pick on. Like, the German ones were the hardcore.
I don't
Because the
know.
jeans would be too short and too tight, and there'd be like one ball hanging out awkwardly.
There was a guy from Barcelona that came to our high school. I didn't want to say that because I don't want you to think I went to some rich people's high school. And I don't know, it feels like exchange students, like, if they come from, like, warmer climates, maybe are richer or something. Like, I went to a shitty high school. Like, I don't know why anyone from Barcelona would come to Milwaukee, but goddamn, they must have been so fucking bummed out. and then to be in our little 600 kid high school in this Brown Deer, Wisconsin, and the kids were just like so fascinated for the first 2 weeks. They're like, hey, say this. Say my balls, or whatever our thing, whatever our Swifty. I tried to change it from Swifty last minute and it didn't work. Just say goyerdy. Like in your high school, you got your little things. You go like Nordflork, and that means pussy, but it also means like the principal's fat or whatever. You got your codes, and then so the kid, you say hey Andre, say Nordflork, and he's like, what does this mean? Is Nordflork? Is that just that's already funny? What does this mean? This Nordflork? He asked what Nordflork is. That's not actually funny. That doesn't. When you grow up and start practicing comedy, you find out that doesn't qualify as a joke. To confuse someone and for them to seek clarification, it's not funny. It wouldn't work if you saw it on SNL. They wouldn't get. I'm not saying that's a gold standard, but they wouldn't say this sketch is ready to go.
Yeah, third grade style, like fifth grade jokes.
But then they finally go Nordflork, and then whoa, and the roof comes off the school, and Andre said Nordflork. And then he says it again, like, because either he's going to play ball, he's like, that was a real Nordflork. And then you're like, ugh. And then that's how we consume people. That's what we do. We're just a big, that's what society is. We're individually, we're wonderful people. We're better than giraffes. Not to sound like a broken record, but the chimpanzee is a beautiful beast, like, and we are basically chimps. The thing that we created by becoming the perfect chimp, which is society, a byproduct, I would say a wasteful byproduct at this point. We're all choking on it. Society is like carbon monoxide from a car. Like, it's exhaust. Society has been created around us. Or let's say excess society. Society you probably wouldn't complain about if you were running through the apocalypto forest and there were people behind you going like, you don't have a society, so we're going to kill you. And then your society came the other direction or through the jungle. It'd be like, thank God for society. But that's just gang shit in a jungle. Then you start like making things to grind your food instead of blah blah blah. And then you cut to the stuff that we're in right now, where you're like looking at Twitter and you're getting mad because there's a guy with a shirt that says Buck Ofama, and you're like, you can't swear. You don't know how to swear? What are you posh? You don't want to sully your fucking forebrain with a profanity? It's a free country. Say fuck Obama, you fucking hillbilly nerd. I wouldn't want to use the F word, but let's just say that person's not human. Where was I? I'm stuck on that superior chimp thing. Oh, well, yeah, well, we're
That
a mass.
was amazing.
But then we've done together, we're this biomass, and what we do is, starting on the playground, we see individuals, and we start practicing coalescing. We go like, oh, what kind of shoes do you have? I don't know. What kind of shoes do you have? Same shoes? Same shoes. Well, that's good. Your shoes are two the same. Well, my shoes will be a little bit different. Okay. Well, that person's different shoes are a little cooler. And you're forming this like little blob. And then there's the kids, all of whom became my listeners, who are like further away from the blob. There's never going to be any coalescence. It's like way over here. So the blob goes like, whoa! Scoot, 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 scoot. Just visiting, not coming over here. What's with your shoes? And you go like, I fail to see the logic in why you're asking the shoes. Energy! And there was no exchange about shoes at all. Your soul was just sucked away, and the blob goes scoot, 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 goes away. Or the suckers go, oh, come on, guys, I'll try a little harder next time, and kind of follow the blob along that they'll never be a part of. And those are the people like in Blade that have the tattoo on the back of their neck, the thralls, the glyph slaves, the familiars. The Renfords that will then run out into the night or the daytime for Dracula and go do whatever. Renfroth? What the hell was that guy's? Renfield. I was close. Oh, shit, we have a guest. He's standing over there. Okay. What do you want? Did you schedule anything for me tomorrow?
Yeah.
It's Memorial Day.
Okay, but I didn't know that when
Yeah, you didn't remember
I was
Memorial
asked
Day.
to schedule that day.
Who asked you to schedule something?
Smalls.
Okay, that's writing work. No, not Leonard Smalls. Who's Leonard Smalls? I could work with Leonard Smalls if I wanted. Whoever that is.
So you want me to cancel?
No, because we're way behind on that. Well, maybe, look,
We should do this right
you
now,
have
you
a
guys.
fun. You have a fun
do this.
dinner tomorrow night.
We should do this right now.
Yeah.
Because there's there's not a guest over there.
right.
People.
Fred, I'll bring you up in a second. I just got a few calendar items to sort out. I want to clear my day tomorrow. I have respect for one person's time on stage. It's mine. I'm a real wizard about it. Let's welcome my good old friend Fred Stoller. I'm already all sweaty, so I didn't want to hug you.
Got the water. This is pressure. They told me just have fun.
Yeah.
So I'm glad when they remind me to do that, because sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And you come up here and you
Yeah.
cry.
And you seem like a guy. I've known you a while, and you're always a guy that knows how to just have fun.
And go crazy.
Yeah.
And
Like if somebody tells you like don't try too hard, like you know how to do that.
Well, you were talking about like the pressure because they didn't pay a lot, and when I used to headline in stand-up, which is very brief, I used to feel sorry for the people waiting online to see me headline at a comedy club.
Yeah.
That's not confidence. That's
yeah.
Yeah, you got to really think you're entitled and you're great. So hopefully you could pull up the slack of this.
I'm not getting into this.
I
Yeah, I'll be here. I'll be here all night.
I felt bad, but when you were doing stand-up, are you still doing stand-up? Do you still actively?
No. I did it a long time ago, and first of all, the confidence when I saw the people lining up to see your show, and I walked by them, and they had no idea who I was, and I'm the whole show. And he's whispering. I look familiar is what I got. Sometimes I get a, maybe he said a. But if I'm lucky, people, they come up to me to go, where do I know you from?
Right.
And I list my credits. And if it's a single mom, then I do the kids animation.
Right.
Try to hit on them like a pedophile. Hi, I'm Rusty from Handy Manny. Is your daddy not around? Hey, I'm a monkey wrench that talks. Just ignoring the kid and trying to talk to the mother.
Are you a bachelor right now? And tell me, you. By the way, I don't know. If I'm ever prying or anything, you don't have to talk about stuff like I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm like Greg Proops. I only riff about pop culture. Nothing personal. No, does anyone know me? No, I need something.
I think that when people see your face, I think this is the lucky kind of fame. I would say. I would wager there's plenty of people that wouldn't maybe see your face and go, "Oh, that's who that guy is." But then when they say, "Where do I know you from?" It doesn't matter what credit you choose, because as soon as you start talking, they go, "Oh, Fred Stoller."
No, I don't do that. Usually they recognize me, and they go, "I don't mean to bother you," and I'm so glad someone broke up the isolation that now I'm bothering them.
Right.
I go, "Hey, where are you going? I've been to the Grove before," and I'm following them, and I'm so lonely. The frustrating thing is I did one Seinfeld, just a few Raymonds, and people think I'm rich.
Right.
Like they point to the Hollywood Hills. He must live up there, and I specifically show them the exact little apartment. There's a new thing called Celebrity Net Worth. Have you looked up yourself on this?
No.
It has, with him, and it's, probably, 18 million, all that stuff.
Right.
And I'm on it, and it's very wrong. It's 1.5 million. And, so I've had dates that one woman goes, "This can't be right." I go,
Right.
"Nah." She goes, "Yeah, you have to have more than that." So people now look up my credits. They see a lot of stuff.
That would be nerve-wracking. And so, yeah, I have somebody, because somebody was in a Twitter spat with me, and my income or something must have come up, like whether I'm fancy or richer, because it must have been, and then so then somebody posted, as if like spiking a football, this link. I was like, what is this going to be a link to? Is this how you get like doxxed or whatever you got? It was like, and I clicked on it. And it was this thing like what are they worth.org or something like that. It says Dan Harmon net worth $5 million. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Money you don't know about.
And then I went through it. I said, I guess maybe if I like sold everything, I guess worth is like, it's not liquid. It doesn't say how liquid are they. Like maybe if I sold everything.
And borrowed money? No.
Like
what Rick and Morty will be worth in syndication, they're putting on.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, geez, I mean, if you're allowed to start counting that, then I'm Enron, right? Like, I get to just go. Because I was if you get to start counting that, then it's like, well, because I'll never see that money. However, I do have a stake in it. So it's like sometime when I'm 70 years old, in theory, a check for like Hot Topic Rick slippers will come in or something. And I'll be like, it'll be at the right medical technology, or they'll be able to just feed those checks into the machine that keeps my heart beating for 10 more beats. And they'll be like, "Mr. Harmon, you're doing great. You're 70 years old. Your average person lives to 35 today. Can you hear the gunshots outside? Can you smell the sulfur?
I love how sad.
More money, more Rick and money, more money." He calls it Rick and Money now.
I love how savvy people are now. I mean, you are savvy because, you know show business from following him. But I was at this thing, hey, you get you get checks. They hear what Larry David, hey, they'll see a Seinfeld I was on and go, hey, checks are coming to you. How much?
Yeah.
That's my impression of a moron, civilian. But answering your question, I used to do stand-up, and I fell into it during the 80s comedy boom, which you were alive or...
That's how a lot of their parents conceived them, was both of their parents had an open mic during the 80s stand-up boom, and here they are.
And I was very shy and depressed, believe it or not. And now people have different ways to make it. You go on YouTube, you see this and that. But I only knew, stand-up, I thought to make it as an actor, your parents have to put you in the Brady Bunch. Only children, and I was another reason I hate my parents for not putting Fred in a TV show, like, you fuck. And like they knew they were supposed to do that. So then I went to
I guess that makes sense if you're a kid and you're thinking about the people on TV. You're like, how else would they?
Yeah, you don't know. Like I said, now there's every, not eHarmony, whatever the hell. These links, like this is how you make it. Like I probably wouldn't have been a stand-up if I tried now. I don't know what I would have done, but you're just savvy with everything.
You'd have been on an improv team.
Yeah, I would have been so good, as you could see.
Yeah, and I think that's because the internet hasn't changed anything about the industry in the important ways, like the idea that, I mean, that's a ridiculous generalization. The internet has changed some things about the entertainment industry, but the biggest change is basically the size of the waiting room for auditions. Like that's
Yes.
how I put it. Like, especially for actors, like nothing's changed for actors. Like, oh, how do I get my start as an actor? Well, you know, you want to say like, oh, just get on YouTube and put on a fresh face and just like. But they've been doing that for 15 years, and all it does is they might as well be doing that. I mean, they can make $1 million doing that and never get into Hollywood. But then Google will say, sorry, Fart Smart's been shut down now. No more Fart Smart. I grew up on it.
Well, yeah, it's like people think, Fred, isn't there so many more opportunities now? Well, no, there's just more bullshit. Right. You know, now when I was, came to Hollywood, there weren't as many things, but they were like real things, like a part on Murphy Brown.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? Or like Amen or something.
It was like a big deal when I moved to LA in like the mid-'90s, late '90s. It was like a person would get a spot on a sitcom. Yeah. Like they'd be like the pizza guy that hits on Dharma.
Yes.
But it turns out to be Greg's a clone. No, not clone. Why would clone? I can't even pitch a fucking idea. I can't get through one idea. I fucked it up at the end. If he says clone, use the same actor, you dipshit. You already own that guy.
I've done so many delivery guys. Yeah, so
I've lost it.
There's so many more quote-unquote opportunities, but it's so saturated.
But we would have parties. We would have everybody would show up at that person's apartment. You have chips and nachos and chips and nachos. Fucking, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to fucking kill myself on this stage next week, and I'm not saying that for clicks.
Are you? Maybe you'll kill and murder yourself.
You'd have cheese puffs and little doodles because hey, so and so they're gonna be one time it was
on wings.
It was
like
come
on
like,
through.
So the guy would come through on wing, it'd be your friend, and he'd go, someone ordered pizza, and he'd go like and then the commercial would start, and you'd turn up the music, and you'd just be like,
when I would do guest spots, my friends would say, where were you on it? Meaning you're the beginning, the middle, so how much of that shit do I have to see? Right. It's like a chore to them, because they're flicking back. What's that?
Don't ask him what's that.
What didn't they
I know. There's a gimmick with the people yelling stuff out that I've encouraged somehow. And
that's all right. I'm not going to be a pussy. You don't have to be gentle for me.
Usually, I if somebody starts yelling something out because they're so concerned about something, I find that about 75% of the time it becomes fruitful. I'm like, what is this person? You've lost your mind. We're talking about ninjas or dolphins or something, and then they'll keep talking and go, do you want to just come up here so that you stop ruining the show and talking to the microphone? And then they come up, and then several of them become parts of the show, and so it's a fun, nice part of the show. It's like a town meeting. But then I have guests on, and then somebody goes like, hold the butter, and then I can see your nervous system go, that means I'm failing. Because it does if you're at a stand-up club. Like Kumail, you know Kumail Nanjiani?
Yeah, of course.
Like I say, he's like the brightest, smartest, sharpest dude, but I know he has like a stand-up like DNA. So like when people talk in the audience, I could see his like Iron Giant like it's just like, oh no, what were you saying? Oh.
Well, yeah, when you're.
So you're saying you're a fucking idiot? Okay, and then he just continues, and I'm like, okay.
Well, when you're trained in stand-up, well, I did like I said, the comedy boom in the '80s. Then when I started getting some guest spots, we think we're bombing because I come in. Murphy Brown, hey, I'm the delivery guy. I go, I suck, you know what I mean? Because it's da-da-da, da-da-da-da.
Right.
And,
but then you go into the writer's room. Haven't you worked in writer's rooms and stuff?
Not too many. The only thing, I was on Seinfeld as a writer, and there was no writer's room. Did you know how Seinfeld worked?
Not really.
There's, I was brought in the 94-95 season, again, before you're born. And what happened was, I knew Larry David from the New York stand-up days. And he would kind of taunt me, which, I sound like an Indian now. You're like a pathetic loser. You're like a piece of shit. You make everyone feel uncomfortable because you're like a handicapped guy walking around, and they want to look at you. Your head's down. When's it last time someone like you got laid? And that's really what he said to me. at my friend's surprise birthday party, and this became a Curve episode, he came late. I want to scream surprise like a fucking idiot, you know? All right, I'm in here now. Hey, now it's Rodney.
He's just Rob Schraub, but 9 octaves lower, it sounds like.
Yeah, so everyone in 94 was writing a spec script, you know, for Seinfeld. And he goes, how come you never wrote a spec script? And I'm an idiot, like, because again, people are savvy. I thought when you wrote on a sitcom, you make the salary. I didn't know that sitcom writing became 5 jobs ahead. Like, the idea is not to, hey, I'm going to write on Seinfeld and make whatever the $2,000 a week would be.
Sorry.
If you're at home right now.
I'm going, why was that funny? $2,000 a week. I'm going, all right, I'm getting them a little bit.
Dan has picked up a kettle bottle, and the ice is completely attached, if you're listening.
I'm thinking, all right.
It's like, yeah, don't
looks
steal
perfect.
focus. Fred's
Yes.
telling a story. Fred doesn't want to,
But
like... And then I've lifted it. It's like a fucking
What I
Marx
mean is-
Brothers bit.
It's everything you want.
Dan, what I mean is now people know
There's
about...
nothing more primal
All right, I
than
want
this
for the
scene.
ice to get broken off. And what I mean is now people who
Forgot why I was want the liquid out of the bottle.
and I don't mean to bash Harvard because, you know, it's cliche, and I'm sure you went there and the community writers, but they know...
I went to dirt.
All right.
Don't you know that's my issue? You don't, because we're both narcissists, so you don't know. I have class issues. That's why I couldn't function in writers' rooms, because everybody was from Stanford and Harvard and Yale, and I'd be like, what? Every time we got in a fight about coffee, I'd be like, enough of your Ivy League bullshit!
Well, when I was temporarily on Seinfeld, which I'm plugging, I had a Kindle single called My Seinfeld Year. Did anyone hear this? Well, it made him laugh, and one person. All right. And you.
We will be handing out copies at the end of the show.
Well, the actual thing is, I'm happy to see you, but only disappointed because thinking I was going to plug, I have a new one, and I sent Jeff Davis the PDF of it to save $1.99 what it costs, thinking he'll be going, hey, it's great.
Wait, I want to make sure I understand this. You sent Jeff Davis a PDF
Of my new book,
of your new book. Oh, okay.
thinking, go, hey, I don't want him to spend $1.99. There's these things called Kindle singles. They're legit. I know $1.99 people make fun of them. And yeah, dude sent it to me. And so could you pretend it's really good, 5 Minutes to Kill, and you're
That
Jeff?
book, it changed my life. I've read a lot of authors, and this book, your book, the book.
All right.
Well,
And,
I'm positive that if in any way... Because here's the thing.
I've talked to Lee Daniels about
Yes.
making your book into at least a 4-part movie series.
What about Leonard Smalls?
And Biggie Smalls. Biggie Smalls as well.
But when I was on Seinfeld, one of the Harvard guys goes, because I would pitch things from my life, which was just fucked up, He goes, nothing bad ever happened to me. I have to make things up. And I wanted to punch him like, now something bad happened. These guys were never unemployed a millisecond in their life, but they learned how to do the Larry formula of just in doing things. So basically, there's no room. You know what a writer's room is, right? Okay.
They can put it together
All right.
contextually.
So basically, you have to come up with a Jerry, Kramer, Elaine, and who's the fourth one?
George.
George. I, by accident, did 50 milligrams of an edible the other night. I'm an idiot.
The other night.
Yes, and it's still in me. And so you have to pitch. There's no room. Like, no one's trying to come up with stories together. My analogy, it's like a homicide division. We're all trying to solve murders, but our own murders. And fuck you, I'm doing the O'Daniels murder. We shut our door. We don't help you. So I'm walking around, and there's a guy, I have a restraining order from him, not making this up. A writer. From my book, My Seinfeld Year. Check it out. I talked about some people, and I got sued, and I have a restraining order against someone. I didn't mention his name, a writer, and I called him a pseudonym, and he lately, when my book came out, he would pound on my door going, fuck you ruined my life, because I haven't worked in 10 years because of your book that's been out 3 years. And
You should read my book, Looking for Someone to Blame.
Yes. So he would like bang on my door, leave notes, and he had this fixation. We would go on Dr. Drew, and he'd leave notes. We're going to tell the world what a piece of shit you are in Dr. Drew. That was his manifesto. Like,
Wait, I'm sorry. Back up because I don't understand that. You said he had. You were on.
No.
How did Dr. Drew get involved? I
he
didn't.
thinks that I know Dr. Drew so well
Oh.
that we were going to go on his podcast, and I would confess what a piece of shit liar I am.
That is some bullshit.
Yes.
He was like, "Oh, I got this deal. You should get us on some Dr. Drew so I can get some money and then
Yes.
get this episode. We'll get residuals."
So this guy pretended to be my mentor. So I was on my own. He goes, "Bro, it's like Nam here, but I'll show you the ways." And I made myself look like an asshole for listening to this guy. So I was the one who put myself down in the book that I'm such a schmuck.
I don't believe that you would put yourself down in
All
your
right.
book. I feel like it must be another one of these. I'm such a big shot.
Yes. And I don't get the narcissist, but in a different way. I get it.
Oh
I get
no,
it.
yeah,
No,
you know
of
what I
course.
mean.
Yeah, I
you
do
and
know
I
what I
hate,
mean.
hate ourselves, but
That's
mean,
what I always felt about Howard Stern. In one way, he goes, "Yeah, I'm cool," then he puts himself down.
Right.
Didn't you see that dichotomy in Howard Stern?
Yeah. I mean, to me, I relate to that. But you're a purebred something. Like I don't know. Like you're amazing, and I that's why you're. I mean, I'm jealous of you because
I'm jealous.
your voice, like, because
So much that this guy's walking out.
Like,
And,
he's just taking a poop.
No,
he's
no,
fine.
no, it's-
But no, when you would get up on stage at the when I was living in Milwaukee, I hadn't moved to LA yet, and you were the one of the like 5, 6.
there used
hot,
to be
like,
a thing like there was so many comedy sentences, so many of these cable, Evening at the Improv, Paul Provenza, Mario Joyner, that you could make a marginal living doing the same set every, on all these, the A-list, we called it A-list because everyone was on it. But those
But you
shows,
would come out. I mean, we were coming out of an age where like someone would come up with a hammer on their head and say, "Hey, I'm Hammerhead," and people would laugh, and then that person would be kind of fucked for 10 years. But you weren't one of those. But the funny thing is that you were so on point. You were so true to your own voice that I bet a lot of people think you're doing a character. And because you would come up on stage and the audience would stop clapping, and then you would say something like, "Yeah, I'm kind of I guess you're probably thinking I'm like, oh hey, look at the cool guy," or something. Yeah,
that's why I quit stand-up, because of stuff like that.
Yeah,
Those reactions.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I never. But you go like, I'm a bit of a thrill seeker or whatever. You had your bits.
I live on the
about,
edge. I drank milk that expired yesterday.
Yeah.
All these jokes.
But when you would say I'm a thrill seeker, the audience would unanimously laugh, and that's the thing. Is that seems to be part of your voice, is that you're like. Like, why is that funny? Well, because they looked at you and you said something that they were thinking. Remember Louis Anderson's bit when he would say,
yes,
he would
brilliant.
open with fat jokes, and then after he did like 3 minutes of fat jokes, he'd take a pause, and then he'd say, "I always have to open with the fat jokes because if I didn't, someone in the audience would be sitting there saying, 'Do you think he knows?'" And that is like a thing of like it's about essence. It's like what Sam Christensen is this class that I took right here in Burbank.
You told me, and you said you'd guarantee I'd get laid if I took it, and you were going to pay.
Did you take it?
But no, because you didn't pay like you said you would.
All right.
You guaranteed I'd get laid. Do you remember saying that?
I'll pay for it.
Maybe he was going to pay for the lay.
Yes. He's looking up Sam Christensen. And yes, the thing is, a lot of comedians were insecure, but I never learned overcompensation. Like these scrappy guys, "Hey, I'm Greg Fitzsimmons," or whoever. "I'm scrappy." Hey,
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Mad
comic beef now.
I feel embarrassed, like saying, "Hey, I'm great," and all that stuff. So, like I said, I got into stand-up because it seemed a way. My idol was like Jimmy Walker. I never saw a guy like him, skinny, black, funny-looking. I go, "Hey, that's
Don't
like
keep
me."
looking at me, man.
I know. If I don't, it's racist. So, when you're on purpose.
It's not dynamite.
All right. But
he looked away on funny looking. He was
Yes.
saying it.
I know, but I had to get it because he was, he's trying.
I'm trying to gauge. It's like I can't pitch shows. A few times you do. You ever try to engage like the third person in the show? You're not just talking about a really important person. So in this show, and then hi third person, we're not ignoring. There'll be 3 different arc breaks, and you're the really important person. And you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
There's that 4th one, and that's
I did a I went to a show where it was right when the stand-up thing gave way to storytelling. So now I was allowed on stage with you guys,
Right.
and like a Beth Lapita's show or something like that in L.A. And one thing I did was because I'm such a master storyteller, but that just stuck out in my head. I'm like, what the fuck did that sound like? But I'm just saying, like,
Now I'm in. Yeah, I was waiting for my opening in this world.
It was because of a TV credit. Let's be frank. But then you're allowed to go up to like these cabaret shows and you have a drink and you say, my dad hit me, and they're like, that's great. Here's a drink. But I did one of those, and it was like me, Mark Maron, and maybe like, let's say Scott Thompson, I think, was there,
Right.
and it was. And there was like we almost outnumbered the audience, and it was like right on that bubble where it's like they must have talked about canceling the show. There's like 6 people sitting there, and then the other 2 performers. And I remember distinctly, like, it was such a weird thing that Mark Maron, while he was on stage, he coped with the weird sensation of performing to only that many people. I had only met him for the first time that night, but he just kept on. Maybe my laugh was louder or something, but he basically kind of did his whole act to me. But it really filled me with confidence. I think I killed with the 6 people afterwards. But I probably went on before him, and so he was just like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you need the feedback. Well, when you're talking about comedians, how they, I'm cool. I'm blaming old age when I forget names. The guy, Silicon Valley, Dinesh, but
Kumail.
Oh yeah,
Kumail Nanjiani.
Yes. Well, I did some guest spots. Bob Saget had a show called Raising Dad, which sounds funny, and it was the 2 kids grew up, Harrison Briel and Kat Jennings. So Saget and Kendler, they were just working. Paramount had these tours going through, and they'd be doing a rehearsal, and hey, and in acting class you'd have comedians, and you're doing a scene, but they'd work the other people for laughs. So comedians have that mindset. But what you just said about storytelling, I'm bringing back to the Seinfeld writing. So this guy would always say, I'll tell you when to pitch laugh, because you have to approach his door and knock and come in and pitch a Jerry, Kramer, Lane, and George story, and you can't do anything till they're approved. And I'd be approaching, goes, not a good time, bro, not a good time. And I was so insecure. I tried everything out on him. He goes, no, and he kind of ended up sabotaging me. And so sometimes one thing I learned from writing, and so there was no room, you're totally on your own. The one lesson I learned for writers, and I'm sure you could attest to this, is when you try things out on friends, people, smart people, only try it out on the guy that could say yes or no. You know what I'm saying? Because I tried out things on this, he said, no, I'm concerned, that's not good. Then someone else ended up doing it, not because they stole it, but because they tried it out on Larry David, and I asked these middlemen.
Well, I want to interject because not because there's anything to defend or correct, but because I find this fascinating. That every show is different, and I'm surprised to hear that. But like a lot of shows do have just the rooms where the people sit,
there's no room,
powwow, and then there's like one Community worked like that because that's how I understood it to work, or rather maybe that's what Neil and Garrett, who worked on Scrubs and were helping me like run my first show.
That's the way most, like 97% work.
It's like you come into work and you sit, and then you've got a bunch of. It's like a police station where it's like you got your.
You work on this, and they
here's
work
what's been
each
going
other.
on since yesterday. So how's it going in that room, and then people kind of go off back to their. So there's always like one person who's working on a draft or an outline. There's like a couple people working, hopefully, if you're really healthy, that they're a joke room and they're punching stuff up. And then there's a story breaking room.
No, I had no idea what other episodes were in the pipeline, what was going on. So you couldn't do anything. One time I made a mistake. I tried out this idea. Kramer does a one-man show called One Time My Uncle Hit Me. Like those confessional things. And so I said, that's good. So I'm writing it up, and then I bring Larry in. What the fuck is that? You don't fucking put things on the board until I see it. But Lapisi said it was good. What the fuck, you idiot? So you can't.
Is it possible, Larry David, that there's something missing from your translation of him? That like maybe he's smiling while he's saying something. Well, he seems to be a joyful guy. I know he's grumpy, but
one time this happened.
sound like a bad guy from Revenge of the Nerds. Like he
Well,
just wanted to.
One
like,
time this
hurt
happened
you.
to me. The editing room was next to my room, so you can't do anything until the stories are connected. So I would one time I stood outside the room trying to pitch. I waited an hour, and these two aggressive guys from Harvard went right in, and then they pitched. They went right in front of me, and I was so exhausted from waiting, I went in my room and napped for an hour. So I would go play pinball, walk around, and one time he passes. So he wasn't the worst guy, because he said something nice for a moment. He goes, I see you're not part of the clique. I see that. You
That
got
was
to
the
get
nice
aggressive.
thing?
He goes,
Jesus, that's the nicest thing.
yeah, well, wait till the story goes. And then he goes, when I was on Saturday Night Live, all right, I don't have to. It's like doing Norm Macdonald, who I opened for. Don't get me started. You can't do a story without doing, no, Freddie, yeah. You got the free sneakers. You fucker, yeah. So, all right, so I'll try to
I
do
think you should keep doing your Larry David.
all
That's
right,
kinda-
so he goes, when I was a writer at Saturday Night Live, my office was right by the elevator, and all the writers would walk by for lunch and not include me. So I know I see you're not part of the clique. He goes, so you got to get aggressive. You find me on the floor, you look, and you throw things at me. Just throw things at me. And I went, all right. So then go, hey, Larry, I had this idea. There was a guy on that season, Mr. Pitt. I don't know if you remember who he was. And I said, what if he gets into it with Jerry Stiller's character? He goes, that's a fucking stupid idea. He goes, all right, I did tell you to try things out on me, but that was fucking stupid, Freddie. I did tell you, but not that shit. So,
Why did he hire you? he kept. There's something missing from this story. I do think because it seems to me like Schraub and our friend Abed, right?
Yes.
So
you're saying I'm like Abed.
Have you
All
seen?
right.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
but no, the dynamic. I mean, you've seen Schraub abuse Abed.
Well, my
but he doesn't
theory
hate
is
him.
my theory is that he sees in me what he doesn't like about himself. Because when he was on Saturday Night Live, he didn't like any of those the equivalent of Harvard writers. But then when it's his thing, so I started in stand up with him and Gilbert Gottfried. He goes, me, you, and Gilbert were the three biggest fucking losers. He goes, Freddie, your only chance of getting a woman is if you're blind, because you're doomed. You're a Jew from Brooklyn. And we went to the same high school. I don't know. He saw something. So basically, how I got the job was Steve Scroven. I don't know if you know who he is, and it doesn't help in the story. He was the one who had the surprise birthday party. So in 94, 95, before they got this influx of the Ivy League guys, he would hire stand-ups from his New York days, and they would, and so it was almost like the beginning of Platoon, where they go, "You're gonna like the Nam," because I had friends of mine that were just. They would do the same thing, but they had camaraderie. 4 New York stand-ups came in, and they were totally on their own, and you weren't sure if you were supposed to start up a story. So he kind of got a kick at it, He goes, a lot of shitty things happen to you. Maybe you could use the shitty things from your life, for the Seinfeld episodes. So he goes, how come you never wrote a spec script? He goes, write one. Nothing will happen, but I will read it. And I wasn't gonna, because that wasn't the route. I wasn't smart, like I said. People now, they know. What I mean, they're 5 jobs ahead. Is I thought, you make a salary. Now, all the guys at lunch were with executives from Castle Rock on their next 3 deals. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't savvy.
Right.
I wasn't even savvy I could get laid as a writer. I was... Oh man!
Yeah.
Go back in time, and
That makes me feel. I feel bad. I don't want to feel bad
no.
for you.
It
'Cause
all
I don't want my pity to sprinkle on you and grow a pity receptor.
No. I'll tell you, it's all a happy ending.
Okay, all right.
Because that wasn't my route. I know comics. They watched the Rob Petrie, Dick Van Dyke, and they wanted to be around a table. I just wanted to be a character actor. You know what I mean? I didn't know about houses, and you write on sitcoms. And it never appealed to me you see the run-throughs. They're like cows. Moving on to Jerry's apartment. And you see them on the Radford lot. They look like cows. You know what I mean? They just, the writers, walking.
I was always jealous of those people, too, yeah. I don't want to interrupt your story.
No. So basically what happened was I wasn't going to write a spec script. But in 1994, there would be people dying to have Larry David read their Seinfeld spec script. So I said, let me just write one just in case, like the next Dan Harmon goes, hey, Fred, do you have a spec script? I'd have one ready. Because he kept saying nothing will happen.
Or that Dan Harmon, probably
Yes.
not the next one.
Right, yes. Just to have it ready. And again, I'm an old man going, back then they didn't have the internet, and I had to really look for a Seinfeld script to see how it's done. And my friend helped me with the format. And in my spec script, I used a story based on many years ago. Oh God! When you're old, you keep. My new book I wrote. Everything is back before the internet. You have to preface it. Back before cell phones, and before there was the internet. Remember when there was? Now there's no such thing as a blind date, unless your name is like Phyllis Smith, because this is what she looks like, what she makes. You get pictures, Facebook. So someone wanted to set me up with a woman. But she was away for the Hamptons till the summer, and I was so excited. I wanted to have the visualization to be excited. I thought of a funny bit where, what if I hire a police composite artist to sketch what she looks like? To go, all right, yeah, looking forward to that. So that was part of the spec script, and then I once. This they ended up using in Seinfeld. I met a woman in London, and it was unbridled sex. This was 1990 when I remember
96.
Yeah. And I remember, no, 1990.
Yeah, the
But
beginning.
I remember, I confessed to her, I haven't had sex in 6 months. She goes, so long? I remember when that was so long. Wow, I wish it was that recent. And
You know why we had so much sex in 1990? We had no idea how to dress.
Right.
Because it was 89, New Year's Eve. We were like, what are we going to do about all this Velcro? We can't just start dressing like hippies, too. We will by 93, but...
So I put in a storyline where I flew her to L.A., and it was almost like she gave her ticket to a woman that looked like her. She goes, you flew me here just for sex. And if I said what instead of pardon, she'd scrunch. So he said, I like the spec script. Let me show it to Jerry. And so he liked this stuff, and I was brought on. And just as a quirky guy, and then...
Brought on as to be on screen.
No, as a staff writer from that spec script.
So that's so
Yeah,
it is like what? So rewinding from that, before that spec triumph, what were you doing? You were at the office. You were being abused by coworkers, but you weren't getting paid.
Wait a minute, I'm confused.
You may have been a slave, and it's illegal.
Wait. Where was I not getting paid? No, I was on staff at Seinfeld.
I thought you were because when you said you're 5 jobs behind, or you're 5, you're 5
No.
jobs
What
to
I
go.
meant is that they're strategizing. Writers now, speculating. You don't go, gee, I just got a writing job on Community. You go, ooh, it's a cachet. Then I'll be able to pitch FX shows.
I see what you mean.
That's
Okay,
what I
you
mean.
meant being on staff on a sitcom. That's hardly the end of any rainbow,
Right.
Like, but
they don't think, gee, it was called program consultant. I'm making $2,200 a week. Ooh, that's cool. No, they think Seinfeld. They'd be on lunch getting their next deals, and they're 5 jobs ahead. Is what I meant.
And the unspoken implication there, I think, or maybe I'll put words in your mouth, or maybe why don't I just say my own, is the reason that's really true is because you could get that far. You could have a staff writer job on a sitcom, but then both because of what happened to the industry and technology, and because of the fact that you're right, you're competing with aggressors. You're competing with professional. I don't want to undercut everyone that can hurt me in the business, but and everyone and everyone I wouldn't want to hurt because I like them because they became my friends. Some of them, but there's a DNA there. I always look at it like dog breeds because where it's like because there's dogs that are good. There's like. He's a great joke writer, but part of being a good joke writer is that he drives that person and that person so nuts he has to fax his jokes in from home. And then that person's not that good a joke writer, but they're so like vibrant in the room that their jokes seem funnier by 20%, and then these other people who are different breeds, like they end up pushing that joke, and because there's the breed of it's
a chemistry, a symmetry.
Yeah, and I would never want to say it because there's no such thing as a breed of dog that's a good dog or a bad dog, unless pugs are evil. But no, I'm kidding. I know that pug owners are driven by their protectiveness. That's why I made that joke. You can't talk shit about pugs. That's the point of that breed. It wouldn't exist but for a surplus of protectiveness in the human breeders that bred it. It can't breathe unless you Q-tip its face every 3 weeks. It is a dog that is falling apart. It is a pile of dog. It looks like you spilled a dog. And
Their eyes pop out?
I mean, it's.
They do, yeah.
What could they ever do? A dachshund? I'll tell you what. They used to use them to clean cannons. I know every breed. They all had a use. Anyways, arrow quivers. They would clean them with dachshunds. But pugs are just there so that we can feel angry about people making fun of our dogs.
That dog's cute for the first 2 years of its life, and they do not age well. Old pugs are ugly as fuck, and old pug owners know it.
Pugs were part of an ill-advised program to breed rescue dogs.
For murder.
I thought that would get a big laugh. I was like, this is impressive. I wrote this. I can't do stand-up. I would have wrote that down on a yellow pad and gone, this will kill. I just wrote that in my head. Pugs are part of an ill-advised program to breed rescue dogs. Laugh, but no.
Yeah.
Because you're breeding them all fucked up, like as fucked up as so you don't have to go to the humane center to find, because it's like, oh, that dog has 3 legs and 1 eye. I'm gonna rescue it. No, it's a pug. It could be a thoroughbred pug, and
she has a pug.
It needs
I see
your
that
help.
Face you're making. No, you made a face like, no, stop.
Well, it also elicits that feeling because if you look at a pug, you go like, that's me. I'm an underdog. That's me in grade school. That's me in high school. It's the little girl dressed as a bee in the Blind Melon video. That's what a pug is. Because sometimes dachshunds, you want to be tempted, but you're not. No, that's the kid that was into sports casting, and so all the basketball players thought he was cool.
Could I kill the momentum of this bit that's killing? No, a writer. No,
my job.
I just did. A writer's question, which I don't know if they care about this stuff. Do you think it's easier to fake being a writer on a sitcom than like a show like Breaking Bad or Justified? Like a guy could just be aggressive and loud and throw out jokes. He could fake $1 million career in sitcoms, but can someone fake that in the world of those dramas?
Well, I want to make sure I understand the question because I do want to answer it, but I don't understand the question.
Well, it sounds like you were saying, or maybe I'm saying that you could fake your way to a nice career in a sitcom at a table, fake it just by making jokes and not really being as good a writer. But there's more of a skill set, is what I'm thinking. Those 1 hours, you can't fake it. You can't be loud or go, ha ha ha, then Bryan Cranston dies. Hey, he'll have a stripper by him. Oh, yeah.
I don't want to piss off my friends that work on drama shows, but they're a less fraternal bunch, so they probably aren't as easily pissed off. And the few I've talked to about this will confess that. Because when a comedy writer sits with a drama writer, it's only a matter of a couple drinks before the comedy writer says, admit it, it's easier. And they go, yes.
Which is easier?
Yes, of course it's easier. There's no jokes. I'm like, I knew it. But you cannot tell anyone I ever said that.
See, I'm in awe of that, like Justified, because I think Rayland, whatever.
But I just want to make sure, because I didn't mean to imply, I didn't want to be too cynical and say just because there's all these different breeds of writer.
It's a symmetry. They all need.
First of all, the idea that writers could work as a pack, which is again how my metaphor is awesome, is an achievement of the species, because writers aren't supposed to be subject to the Henry Ford principle. That should have been the death of entertainment. We should have been in the era that we're in now in terms of like our definitions of comedy and stuff, way back when the first studios were like, yeah, but can't you make it faster? I don't know. What if there was more of yous? And writers were stuck in a room together, and just imagine that cave painting of writers being forced to do that. And they're the worst. They're egotistical. They're defensive. They're thin-skinned. They're thick-skinned in the wrong ways. They're the monsters. And then they go, fuck it, then we'll have rules for that, and to me that's analogous with the human
So it's almost
species.
like the Seinfeld writers' room is more natural.
I don't.
But also-
it sounds like it was weird. You
Yes.
already said that you've
Isolated.
heard that, but I think that's probably a successful show too. When the
They
stakes
know
get
what they're
high,
doing. You can't dispute.
and then it's like you're coming in, so it's like the army knows what it's doing too. So if you come in as a new writer, it's not like, hey, my name's Samantha, here's your bunk. It's like, fuck you, you die or figure it out. And
That's what a good pack does.
But
right?
but this is, I wanted to bring it around to the fact that because there's so much like my connection to you is the self abuse. I mean, you can't stop. Like you just you have a potato in one hand and a potato peeler in the other, and before you ever come around to peeling the potato, you'll be like fucking like you will be fully peeled yourself. But
when people go, Fred, you've been on every sitcom of the 90s. Not News Radio, not Frasier. I got to correct them.
And all of that, but it's like that's the thing is like I don't even know if it's possible for you to become a douchebag because of that, because you're going to be one of those over. You said in the beginning, I thought it was so interesting. You didn't overcompensate. We know that breed. That's a dangerous breed. That's 85% of like
world.
people who the world
Yes.
comedically, like guys who were nerds, and then they go, well, but I was funny, and then they got that stick that says they were funny, and then they start using it in a way that they wouldn't have if they didn't have that stick. So it's like it's a weird thing, but it's like, well, if you're fucking a victim and someone gives you the power because of they like watching you be a victim, it's hard. And your voice, you've always had that voice. You've always been that guy for real, and people have always been drawn to it. And some people are even drawn to abuse you. And
because yes, Norm Macdonald when I opened for him, and let's not go there. No, I'm just kidding. No, they're booing me for saying something they don't know. That didn't happen, Fred. No, like a guy like Dom
Even
Herrera,
they want to fucking abuse you right now. Just
like a guy like Dom Herrera, no one's going to bully him because I think I see. There's a guy. I'll tell you later, but I don't want to turn on this crowd. Why don't you do that, Fred? They're sweating. Why not have them? No. See, I grew up. There was no such thing as nerds. There were nebbishes, sad sacks. Nerds are like cool. And it's like, now there's a lot of comedians now. There's Schlubby and, there's like this guy, good guy, Matt Myra, you know who he is?
Yeah.
Heavy guy. He's a great guy. But if he was during the 80s, hey, I'm a schlub. And it's like, hey, yeah, you're not a loser. Hey, so it's this pop culture. I'm like being a nerdist referencing Matt Myra. But, it's like when I did stand-up, there was no thought that I want to do it to be cool. Furthest thing. It's embarrassing being cool. So now it's sort of like the old nerds that were picked on. Someone said the nerds now are like the bullies. I remember back in the 90s when this was starting, Bobcat Goldthwait, I'm stealing his line, all these like Largo people, he goes, they're all so cool, like cancel each other out. And so nerd became cool, and I resent that.
Well,
and
and you should. And then there's like Andy Kindler, who is awesome at moving with that resentment, and maybe that's not your essence. Like
No.
maybe.
But Kindler, I have a problem with.
shots fired.
I have a
Kindler's
problem
next.
with him. I already went on Mark Maron, did 5 minutes. Why he bothers me? No, he's a great guy. He's hysterical. But he would do these alternative rooms, and it's like, I'm nervous. It's like an old Jewish guy. Why is this alternative? It's like there's a guy, Bruce Smirnoff, who's like a Jewish guy. It's very guns and knives. Yes, and so Kindler, why was this heralded as this alternative guy, this rebel who is the biggest schmoozer? Oh, God. Oh, no, he's a great guy. No, I already teased him about this. But you know what I'm saying? You know what it is? My mother once said, I don't like pushy, nervy people because I resent them. I wish I could be pushy and nervy. So I resent Kindler because he could schmooze. He's good at it.
I resent everybody because
guy.
I wish I had
Yes.
their abilities sometimes. I mean, how many times have you been cut off in traffic and there's some small part of you that's like, God damn it, that person's winning at life. I've never cut anyone off in traffic, which means that I have spent so much more of my life in fucking anxiety and thinking about other people than I needed to. Because that person clearly never thinks about fucking anything and had that time for Pokemon or something.
Yes.
And I don't, it's never I just want to, I want to make sure you understand, and I think you do.
I do. I don't feel bad for me. I'm happy because I could never survive in a writer's room.
But
I
let's
could
forget
never
about.
survive.
But let's forget
It's
about
not-
feeling
but it doesn't
bad.
feel right.
Forget about pity and bad, and feeling bad and all that stuff, and just like I want you to know, like how prudent it is, how strategically justified it is for you to stay who you are. Because it ends up paying more.
Big money.
It ends up paying more whether
you.
you have to.
Well, it's just about what you can live with. And no, I consider, it took me, when I was younger, it was more like comparing myself. Why aren't I this? But it's really so liberating when you get older, when you're out of the games of women, and, trying to meet women and trying to get pilot season. When it's sort of over, now I could do what I like to do. I'm too old a guy to be pitching, my own show. And it's so liberating because you just...
Well, first of all, that doesn't make any sense to me at all. As I told you when I saw you upstairs, I was dreading seeing you because I haven't seen you in 3 years. And everyone that I haven't seen in 3 years is going to make me feel like I'm 90 years older because we're all melting at a parabolic rate. So I was like... I was telling my girlfriend about you and like, oh, I'm gonna see Fred and he's amazing, and she knew who you were by reputation and stuff like that. Reputation? What the fuck does that mean? I have a reputation with a girl you talk to? What the fuck are you holding out on me for? But no, I was talking to her about you, and I was like, he's Fred Stoller, and I was doing my impression of you because you're fun to do an impression of. I'm sure that makes you very happy.
Especially when Tom Kenny gets extra money in voiceovers.
And then
like,
I
hey, we need a
stopped in the
voice.
middle, and I got really
Raymond.
scared because I was like, Fred's like, Fred, you could draw on a cave wall even if he hadn't gone to art school. Like inside and out, Fred is so specific and so archetypal and so pure. And now I'm gonna see him, and there's gonna be something is gonna spoil that for me.
It looked like Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, you're gonna like it'd be like something that was equally beautiful, but if I'd known you for 20 years as the other thing, I'd be like, oh, fucking time can suck my god balls, whatever. But you,
it's still
like I sound like Billy Crystal doing that Fernando Lamas character or whatever. But the idea that you look good and that's supposed to make you feel good. I'm saying. Why would you not be pitching your
no? I've tried.
original shows at
I've tried,
Netflix
but
and things?
I'm the weird older guy. I'm not.
That's the point. It's point of view now. You're not. The game is not to
I tried.
make
I had an
350
idea.
million people go. Oh, I get it. What is
I had
that?
an idea for a web series. They like the idea. Let's do it. A web series. They go. Can you get some YouTube stars? Like, who do you know? Anytime I've tried, like, who do you know that's more famous than you that will sell this? Who are your friends? Can you bother Fred Willard again? No more bothering Fred Willard. I always bother him.
I remember you used to call me on the phone when we there were still landlines, and I was trying to write Monster House, and for some reason I was doing a lot of cocaine, and I think it was because I just found out how easy it was to buy in LA, and it was so hard in Milwaukee, and I was like, I don't even like coke, but now it's so cheap, like. And so I just had like the CD case. There was these things called CDs. You turned them and listened to them with a laser needle, and it was covered with like coke residue. And then I'd be trying to figure out why a house would be a monster. And then the phone would ring, and you'd be calling me because we had just made friends, and you were like. The idea that I was the paragon of confidence for you says a lot. Like, cause you're like calling me for advice. I'm like, what is this motherfucker? Like, you're like, listen, have you ever tried? Like, what do you do when you park in a grocery store? Like do you look for the park? Cause I've been driving. I went to the store today and I just drove away. I couldn't handle the pressure anymore. I'm like, you couldn't handle the pressure of parking at a grocery store. And you called me.
No, you intimidated me because the last few times I bumped into you were really like angry Dan. I mean, intimidating.
Oh, so
Wait, no.
Larry David. No, I don't.
No. You were nice to me, but like there were these stupid nature half moon walks, the full moon, and you went, "I'm just here to fucking get laid," and like,
I was in a bad place.
yes. And
sounds like it.
yeah, I'm fucking this bitch, and I went, all right.
I didn't say bitch.
You didn't do that, but that helped a little bit. That helped to laugh a little bit.
Did I say? I didn't.
No, but you were so brazen. There was a very attractive.
I would have said I'm going to have sex with this girl.
You were the very
that was the mode
girl,
I was in.
I won't say in front of her. I bumped into her since, and I was so jealous. She was sweet, and you said, I'm just here to fucking get laid. I don't think you said fuck, but you said to get laid. Because fuck all this, this nature bullshit. But no, you're great. But
I was in a phase at that time.
But you were acting like the asshole, and you were getting laid.
There was a girl that had told me,
that.
and this is not negging. Like this isn't that red pill shit. Like I had come into my own. As I had come out of a relationship where I was like, I can't remember what this was in between, where I was like, the justification in my head was, for about a year, I was a pig, but not like, I don't think I was abusive.
No.
I was a pig. One woman said to me, which I will always remember because I thought it actually summed up exactly what I was doing, and she was a customer that was explaining, oh, this is why I stopped and bought this fucking soup that made me sick. And so I was like, oh, that's what's on the label. She said, like, I spent so much energy trying to catch guys and their red flags, and you wave yours like a matador.
Yes.
And that's what it was, and it wasn't. But
you were
that's
intimidating.
I want the kids to know. I want these millennials to know. First of all, I said that was a year, and I fucking looked back, and I almost killed myself, and I was miserable. I almost burnt my apartment down. It was a bad time. I'm also not saying don't ever do that. Do it. Go for it. But that is not the same as this, because these are weird fucking times, and that shit is kissing cousins with some ideologies that have to do with hurting other people in order to like get reverse psychology. This is the baseline is total id, and that's if you meet somebody at a party that just says, "I'm very lonely. Would you like to make out later?" Like that's that guy can have a reasonable time, because then you're playing Moneyball with statistics, and I resent the fact that bleeds into this other camp that's about like taking it back from women who never took it away. Like that's the thing. That's why I want to like put a big fucking fat asterisk on that. But I was going through that phase where I was like, I was just going on dates a lot because I felt like I had done that wrong for the first part of my life. So every girl I talked to that I was attracted to, I was like trying to be in the zone where I'd be like, I'm very attracted to you. I would try not to be, like snow plow them, but like I got a lot of like fucking humiliating like eye rolls and like walk away. Like really, you'd say that to me? But I'd be like, I'm very attracted to you, and I'd like to make out with you.
Now that you don't need those lines anymore, can we hear one of them? Or
what are you kidding? No, you intimidated me at the Super Bowl parties. Does Joel Hodgson thing?
I guess it's just everybody in there. I was in my
That's some
late
people
20s.
for 15 years of their life. Some people die at 65 years old staying that way.
You hear the humanity in him talking about Trump and all this stuff. I mean, that's why I wasn't as intimidated.
Right.
I feel I need to do a Star Trek joke to get you back. Because I don't know
I
if you
can't
can
believe
relate
you-
to this angst.
You told these people everything about Dan. Now I see why Larry David fuck with you.
Yeah. No,
that's the
I
thing,
want to tell you something. People think I'm an easy mark, but I got sued by this guy, and I didn't get bullied. I didn't get bullied with the guy with the restraining order. I pushed him away. And
What
I
happened
took him,
with the end of that?
And he, to give him credit, he didn't know it was illegal what he was doing.
Okay.
To threaten you and intimidate
To
you?
bang on my door, leave
Right.
notes, and say, "Let's go on Dr. Drew."
So when you say restraining order,
We went to court.
did you file it or did he file it?
This is the funny thing. I filed a restraining order. Some friends served him. And then a few days later, he serves me with one, saying, I can't go near him because I'm threatening him. So I go, wait, so I could get arrested if I'm in my own hallway where he lurks? if he gets this restraining order.
You're describing Cape Fear, I think.
Yes.
It's like competing radiuses.
You know, I don't know. Did anyone ever file for a restraining order? That room you go to downtown? No.
I feel like there's probably 2 people at least in the room that have.
It was weird because there's all different types, right?
It's probably
all
not a fun situation. They want to
minorities, all different people, rich, poor, and then there was.
Wait, we had one hand up. Did you raise it because would you be willing to talk about your restraining order? Okay, would you like to come up, please? See, that's how you do it.
Happy Memorial Day.
And you had to go to a place downtown
really?
where you wait with all the people?
I was a minor at the time.
Oh, what happened?
Well,
Check. I was told if you're listening to the live free Wednesday podcast and my mic was bad for the first half of the show, we've replaced it.
have you seen Breaking Bad?
I've seen Breaking Bad.
So my dad was like a Jewish Walter White.
Can you? Sorry, what's your name, sir?
Ori.
Ori? Can you like for more than
Eat
you
the
think?
mic.
Like, keep the mic like kissy distance.
Wait, your father was a Jewish anything?
Yeah.
No. You got to turn your head and the microphone at the same
It's not
time.
really working too well.
You had one job. One job I gave
One
you.
job.
You think I'm sitting like this because I'm comfortable?
So yeah, my
You mean
mom.
a Jewish Walter White? In what way?
Well, he sold crystal meth and women.
Wow.
Welcome to the newest guest of Harmontown. He'll be comptrolling from now on.
Was he a chemistry teacher?
No, he was a car stereo and alarm salesman. So he went from pimping cars to pimping women.
You don't hear Jews as pimps.
Well, yeah, I
Now
know.
I'm Hitler. I'm making fun of a Jewish pimp.
I'm just so distracted by the math in my head. He sold crystal meth and women, so he had both,
Yeah.
and he wasn't done.
Well, I mean,
Don't forget car stereos.
I mean,
Oh, okay. So this
He
guy
used-
really craved car stereos and could never get them.
I mean, his trinity was he would get hookers to sell crystal meth to guys,
Oh, you ain't got to tell us.
and then they would fuck the guys and then do the meth, and then when the job was all done, they'd smoke the meth, and then the meth would make them clean, so then everything would be spotless.
Wait,
when they
make
left.
Wait, the meth
Clean.
would make them clean?
Well, because meth makes you all like,
Clean like a maid.
Oh, clean the house.
yeah.
You were about to buy a shit ton of meth. You're like, meth can make me clean? I would like to try some meth. I'm so dirty.
Just got to get that colonic.
Oh my God, yeah. So, by the way, Levy is obsessed with colonics.
I'm not obsessed.
He keeps asking me to get one because he wants to. I was driving the car the other day, and I go, Levy, I order you to check out getting a colonic for me. And he was like, really? Okay. And I know what's happening.
I'm
here.
more curious, like, if I actually got one,
Would it feel good? You should be
No.
curious about that.
I think, for me, like, I would only do it if that meant you absolutely had to do it.
It would. We support you.
I don't want to do it.
What do you mean you don't want to do it? You keep bringing it up.
We want you to try
But
stuff.
can we get back to hookers and meth and car stereos? I'm trying to learn something in this motherfucker.
Well, now he runs a rehab center off of Melrose.
Okay, so what did you, now he runs? I don't care about him cleaning himself the fuck up. I want to know, what was your restraining order for?
Because he was doing like a lot of meth, and that's not good for like a grown child.
So how old were you at the time?
I was like 16.
So did you have to go to the police department
No,
yourself?
I was a minor. My mom had to go because the
Okay.
DEA came into our house and they were like, "Hey, your dad's doing some shit."
Why do you need a restraining order if the DEA has already taken him away?
Oh
Does
no,
he
they
get
were
out
looking
and shit?
for him.
Okay.
Oh, and he may come back.
Yeah.
Is that a friend of yours or one of your dad's bodyguards?
No, I have no idea who that is.
We just got killed by a Sicario.
And what ended up happening to him in your relationship with him?
That's why I'm back in LA. I kind of came back to work out on a relationship with him.
Is he?
You
is
should
he
have him on the show.
I would if there was a story we thought we could track that would be worth clicks. No, but is he? What has changed? Has there been an arc in terms of you or him? Like,
I mean, basically, like from when I was a kid, like 16, like it's all started happening, and then like slowly but surely, I found out like what he was doing. He was in jail. He was a kingpin, all that stuff.
Kingpin.
Yeah.
Jewish king.
See this? That was made for me in jail.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
Did you just
made
touch
things
it?
for you in jail?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you're saying what's changed is the experience has humanized you. That you at 16, it was so volcanic.
Yeah, it was
your instincts
traumatizing at that age. And then
got out of there
eventually-
because you're a survivor.
Yeah.
And as an adult, can I ask how old you are?
I'm 25 now. Yeah.
Okay, so I can ask how old you are,
Yeah.
you young prick. Of course,
And he's got weed in his pocket. I know.
But as a functioning adult, this is very admirable. At 25, I'd still be paying my rent off my anger at my dad.
I mean, it's he's paying adult child support basically.
You're looking back and you're going like, but who's the guy? Is he in jail now?
No, now he's running a rehab center off of Melrose, helping like other Jewish and adult people like get off the streets.
There's so many Jewish kingpins.
I like the placement of the "and" there, though. Other Jewish and adult people off the street. So if you're Jewish, you could be a third trimester fetus.
And addicted to crack.
Right. So that sounds like I didn't want to force that narrative where it's like, so he's clean now, so it's time to repair. But it sounds like he is clean.
Yeah,
because he's running a
clean.
rehab
Yeah,
center.
he runs a rehab center.
So it's
now.
time to revisit it. And all right, yeah, well, no, let's have him on. Let's
you want it?
tell him your podcast wants to talk about fathers and sons and
For sure,
and
yeah.
all that shit if he wants to come on for sure.
For sure.
What about my stained glass company? Well, it's not very interesting. No, I think that's who am I arguing with in my head? Why do I always sound like I'm defending myself? Who's attacking me? My girlfriend woke up this morning and she went, "Oh, baby," and I went, "What? What now?" And she went, "I have a headache," and I went, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I was so fucking ready for women to attack me in the morning. Like, what am I, a fucking like weird cyborg? Like that was. So I have so much neurological work to do. Do you believe in neuroplasticity, Fred?
I never heard of it, but now I do believe in it.
It's when your brain can change throughout time.
No, late in life I got into weed because I do believe that, and I tried mushrooms and it didn't work, but I believe things
It
could be
didn't
better.
work like nothing happened?
Yeah.
Well, yes and no. Do you want to hear the story?
Yeah.
Or are you running late?
Is Larry David in it? No wrong answers, but
All right, I'll try to make a long story short. I got into edibles, and I like them because I have realizations, revelations, where something hits you, and it's like in a visual, and wow! And I had a breakthrough, and now I won't go back. You know what I mean? It's,
Right.
And I love that. Someone goes, "You really get that on mushrooms."
right.
All right, I want to.
So you always crave that. See, this is an important thing. I want to be like a commentary track that is not. I'm opening the cut. I feel an energy from you when I interrupt you and do my prattling that you're like, Jesus Christ, he's talking and I'm on a fucking track. And earlier you said,
No, I love Duncan
I want to get
Trussell.
back to that thing
Duncan
so that I can
Trussell.
get back to the thing I was talking
I
about.
love him.
All right, but
I'm trying to show I know stuff. Hey,
but you
over the garden wall.
I
was in that. All right.
You like the idea of you like that.
Realizations, yes.
You
Breakthroughs
don't
in
have
life.
anxiety about a bad trip or anything like that?
I've had paranoia, but, well, it's like anything. It's like if you're in a very bad state, it's going to compound it 1,000%, like the loneliness, the isolation. So I'm smart enough.
I got dumped on acid once.
By your dad?
No, by a girl.
Oh, your dad.
It was very confusing at the time.
Yes.
This is something that no one would ever assume about you, though. I guarantee you that. Because the average person...
I think I'm so neurotic about
The
it.
average person doesn't do ayahuasca or mushrooms because of the Fred Stoller voice inside of them. So to find out that Fred Stoller, who has that
mushrooms
voice,
didn't work.
is like,
But,
yeah, no, I'll do
well,
it.
what
I just don't know
happened-
how to get it. For
What happened?
do you buy it at a store? How do you park there? What do you know?
Well, what
How do you keep people from judging you when you're trying to buy ayahuasca?
again? Being the old guy in the '80s, the few times I did weed, the Fred Stoller neurotic guy. My throat hurts for 3 weeks. My sore throat. I'm
Right.
dizzy. And I don't like alcohol because of the Fred Stoller neurotic guy. I wake up dry mouth 3 hours later. I'm doing an impression of myself. I'm nauseous. I don't like it. So I thought weed was like Cheech and Chong. Hey man, did you move the car? No, I forgot. I go, I don't want that. So, Brian Posehn, hey,
Right.
man, hey, I like comic books, yeah, I'm a
Shots
stoner,
fired.
So that's what I thought weed is, hey, yeah.
Just from your observation of other people from
Yes.
the outside, you're like, I don't want to be like that on the
Yes.
inside, but you found out.
But then I found out someone said it opens your mind. So it's got more sophisticated. I think in the 80s when I tried it once or twice, it was just anything. And smoking, like I said, sore throat, paranoia. But then, you see on the news, the
There's strains.
legalization.
There's actually different strains
cancer,
and, you know,
yes.
yeah.
And someone said it opens your mind. So, and then I listened to Sam Harris, who, not the guy who, no, you know who he is. And he's saying, I read the book on tape. One of his that he's got daughters. He goes, I wouldn't like if they did. I'd be concerned if they did meth or crack, but I would want them to try. It opens your mind, and I
Right.
started thinking about it. So, and I then did some edibles, and I'd have things where I think I have a funny idea. They never make sense,
Right.
but I really felt, and I even would meditate. So you have a breakthrough where it's a visualization where you got something, and once you got it, I can't go back to what that was. So,
Right.
so someone said mushrooms is better, and it wasn't.
Mushrooms is it wasn't.
No.
It didn't work on you. Come on.
Well,
Something
the
happened when you
situation.
took mushrooms. Okay, tell us a story. Sorry, that's your yeah. Ori.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking if I remember the name.
Someone a very sweet.
Just buckle up. The lights are warmer up here.
All good.
A very
Enjoy.
sweet woman who I don't want to put down. She reached out. She has a boyfriend, but she's seen me on things. Hey, you're an interesting character, and I like you. Not like me that way, but she said, and she saw me on some podcast talking about weed. And no, she does weed, so she met me and she got me a $40 top joint thing, and
She saw you on the
like
podcast.
Doug Loves Movies or the thing where you
Excellent.
smoke or whatever.
Excellent.
No, I didn't do Doug Loves Movies.
A lot of podcasts have live video feeds now for $5 a month. You can subscribe.
Is there one that you might know of offhand?
Yeah, the one where you smoke weed. I
Yes.
did that one with Doug Benson. And again, that's another guy. You don't think of him as breakthroughs, like, So, but she goes, talking about that. I go, I'd like to do mushrooms, but how do you do it? She goes, I'll get you some. We'll do it. And
Can I interrupt here?
yes,
She's local. She's in your life physically, or are you Are you connected with her online?
she
it both?
sought me out through Twitter or whatever the hell. But
Dark
it wasn't
web.
like a catfish because we had mutual friends, so it wasn't so psychotic.
Well, I wasn't thinking. I just want to know, like, is she a person, like, because I'm trying to figure out, like,
Who she is?
no, God, no. No, I'm trying to figure out how much of this was like your anxiety was mitigated by, like, this was a
I felt
person that
very
you were
trusting
interested in
and
that was
familiar.
drawing you in. It was saying like she trust you.
I trusted
you
her.
trusted her
Totally.
and this is how you met her. But you met her online. But then you were going to meet her. Maybe
Yes,
to
we
do the
met and
mushrooms?
she had the joint, and I just, we talked, and I said, I never did that. I'm curious. And I had a birthday a few months ago where I'm tired of every birthday you sit around with 8 friends, yeah, my friends, and the check comes. I want to do something adventuresome. So, so I said, I want to do mushrooms. And so then there's a
That's your description of a birthday? I mean, by no means do I claim that birthdays are fun, but your description of a birthday
it gets more
would
ridiculous.
make Vonnegut kill himself. You sit around a table.
Well, it's always the same
7 to 8
people.
friends. You go, yeah, I'm older. The check comes.
And everyone's dipping it up.
You sound like
Oh.
the way a rock would describe DNA. Yeah, you shape yourself different, then you reproduce.
It's always the same restaurant, and it's the same 8 people. They're all very nice, and
All
I'm
right.
always alone. And and no significant other. So basically, I said I want to do something crazy, and so there's another female comedian who once in a while she heard about the edibles. She goes, "Let's do edibles." She texts me, and I go, "Well, I want to try mushrooms." "Yeah, let's do that." And so I wanted to bring her there. So it's 3 of us. Just, I don't want to be uncomfortable and, be sexual. I don't know. I thought it's like ecstasy. You're kissing and,
Which ecstasy isn't, just so you know.
Okay.
Like, I just did it with, I haven't done it with, it's
So that was one of the...
Ecstasy is like synthetic mushrooms.
All right, now
it's
I'm
like
being-
mushrooms
You got
with a
the
salary
wrong
cap.
ecstasy.
Is this being homophobic if I say I was afraid to do mushrooms with a friend because I thought, you start making out with a guy, everyone said.
Right.
You make out with whoever you're with. Well, no,
But
not
you
that
weren't
guy.
Okay, well, so, and I
Okay,
don't want
right.
to...
That's poppers.
I don't want to scare... But you say, so there was... It's like... But you weren't afraid. Here, let me show.
All right, I'm a hypocrite, right? You see where this is going?
No,
I wasn't afraid
where
with
would
2
you get
women.
that from?
All right.
I can't even.
All
I can't
right.
even finish my because of my self-loathing. I can't finish my question before your answer with your self-loathing. I'm saying. Let me lay out like.
I was hoping the woman that has a girlfriend, maybe something with her.
When I was in my 20s, I think I probably, if anybody said. This is mushrooms. That's why I did mushrooms. That's why I did acid. Because I was in my 20s. And when you're in your 20s, you're just like driving into trees because you're like, why can't I die? It's like people just like hand you pizza and go like, this has been out for 3 days, and you're like, why not 4? How? Because you can't wait to feel pain, and you will someday. You will. I got food poisoning at one point in my 30s. I got like everything. I had bad trips in my 30s and stuff. But when I was in my 20s, which is when that's when I feel like my roster of drugs that I was willing to do was completed, because it's like the map of the world. Here there be dragons and stuff. So it's like, okay, I'll never try heroin because I made it to 30 without doing heroin. Yeah. Thank God. So now I'll never do it. So this is what but the fear, the Fred Stoller voice inside of me that would not want to do mushrooms wouldn't want to not do mushrooms because I'd be afraid of anything that would happen because of a successful mushroom trip. Right. It would be afraid of an unsuccessful mushroom trip.
People reassured me. Okay, so this is what happened. The woman said, "I'll be a mushroom coach. Okay. I'm here
I was
for
a trip
you."
advisor. That's fun.
She goes, "If you're freaking out, I'll take you aside."
So you've been told this drug represents such a threshold that
You need
the
a
worst
coach.
case scenario is women taking care of you.
Yes.
I'm starting to come around now. This is what I was seeking. Was like, I'm not judging you.
No,
I'm not,
please judge.
I'm like, you're still bolder than me because you're outside of the fact that the story starts with you saying, "I want to try mushrooms." Like I just wouldn't have done it. Like I would have looked for.
Well, again, I like the realizations. I'm very into like meditating and Duncan Trussell again got me into Ram Dass and all this stuff. So
Ram Dass ain't no joke.
yeah,
It's a
you
runner.
know who he is?
You willed
Do you know
a
who
runner.
he is?
I know who he is. He ain't no joke, bro.
Like the way
Ram
you know,
Dass ain't to be fucked with.
as much as you know about my book.
You can go back 2 episodes and he seeds Ram Dass ain't no joke as a runner for no seeming reason. You're a time traveler, aren't you? You set yourself up for a callback. You're Marty McFly.
The reason I do,
Ram Dass ain't no joke made no sense back then. And now it's a callback. Everyone go back. Everyone stop listening to this episode. Go back 2 episodes. He said, Ram Dass ain't no joke in this weird voice. All right.
I bought it though.
I'm getting drunk. Sorry.
No. The reason I'm doing it later in life is I don't have any guilt I fucked around my 20s, 30s, 40s, my 50s. It's like, I tried my hardest to meet women and write and do the career.
And you made it to now visit. You look fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
That's layering in why I was mentioning that.
Yeah, no.
You have the American dream. You may as well fucking put your dick under a
no,
bulldozer.
when edible works right, I feel I could be in Hawaii when I'm lying in my bed.
It's time to find out you're into anything.
Yes.
Now, was it a tea? She make a tea?
No.
How did
so what
she do
she did was all right. So this is what I thought. They said you can't do mushrooms in your apartment. You got to be on the beach and beautiful in Malibu. So I said, so she said you got to get a room. So I rented a room, and that way we could go out, come back in, sleep to the morning, wake up. So I spend my money, and I'm not that rich, on a place in Malibu for the night. And she goes, okay, I'm your mushroom coach if it gets too much and this and so me, her, and the third very nice woman, we go to check into the hotel, and it's like that candy wrap you wrap it in. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, the taffy. Does anyone
Cellophane
know?
wrap?
You're just describing
No,
cellophane?
food. But it's like that.
Saran wrap?
Oh, they make a
Not saran
mushroom.
wrap.
They made like a mushroom taffy.
Yes. So right away I'm going, something's off because I'm eating it, no problem. She said, yeah, this tastes like shit, the mushroom coach is saying. So then we go across the street to Malibu, and right away it hits her, and she's lying in the sand, and I'm picking her up, and this is the coach. And this guy, the only thing that hit me, I was paranoid. The guy who owned the house was Martin Sheen, because I know he lives in Malibu, and he's looking. There's a girl lying in the sand, because I'm going to throw up. And he's on the phone. I go, you got to get out of here. So I'm not really feeling anything.
I'm sorry. The track, Martin Sheen, is that just something that leaped into your head because
yes,
he
maybe I was a little
okay.
paranoid. That's the only paranoia.
All right, he wasn't there. See, I could have been. I don't know if you were like the only one I knew was Martin Sheen, and he's there, and he's on the phone.
but I know he
you're
lives
saying
in Malibu.
You're imagining in your head Martin
Yes.
Sheen is looking
Yes,
down
and
at.
no, but it was a guy
I think
picking
that
up
might
a
be
phone.
Fred Stoller.
Picking up a phone is a woman constantly turning in the sand, and I'm trying to lift her up. So the other woman ran off to get water. She said she's going to throw up. So then I think I did it for fun. I pretended we were like D-Day on the beach, and she was a wounded soldier, and I have to get her back to the hotel. So she's the coach, and I'm escorting her, and we're just taking her, and then all of a sudden I start narrating it, because I go, people are walking by, I go, look at these people. They have houses and lives and their dogs and their kids. And I'm the 59-year-old guy with 2 women trying mushrooms on my birthday. And I'm saying that out loud and people are walking. So then, there's a tunnel that goes from the beach to, in Malibu to this. So she couldn't take it anymore. She's going to throw up, and she's worthing. Is that the word? On the floor, and then this guy comes by with his family. Goes, what's wrong? And I go, oh, she got nauseous looking at the water. And he goes,
She got
and he was a
seasick
black
on the
guy, and that
beach.
has nothing to do with the story, but I have to say it. He goes, don't go on a cruise then, and gave her some advice. Don't go on the cruises.
You can do the voice.
Okay. And yes.
Stay off them boats.
I missed that. You're way back. By the way, he's a black. Yeah, do the because that's the punchline of the story.
Don't go on no cruises. And
All right. That's not your
all
black guy
that's
voice.
That's not a good
Okay.
voice. So
Can I do it? I'll do it.
yeah.
Don't go on a cruise then, motherfucker. I don't know.
Awful.
Which you get.
I don't know.
He was being
Ridiculous.
I
helpful. He
assumed
wasn't
that he
mad.
grew
He
up in
wasn't Mr.
Pittsburgh.
T.
I was trying to make a shady spot so that he could have a picnic.
Well,
I thought I'd take the hit. I thought I'd create a racist canopy so that he could be like, here's what he really sounded like. I'd be like, that's great.
like the waves in Malibu is so crazy. You look at them, you can't walk. You have to have 2 people escort you. So then I forgot this part. The mushroom coach gave good advice. If you need to have a bowel movement, do it before it kicks in. So that was the neurotic Jew in me, Andy Kindler. Oh, I got to make, and did I not go?
Is that just because taking a shit on mushrooms will make you feel like you're the universe's asshole? Or? I'm trying to figure out why that is.
I
love
guess-
that's a documented. That's like. But by the way, that's just clean. It's like throw the grenade, not the pin.
Yeah.
Take a shit
Before the mushrooms
kick in.
I
Otherwise,
guess I understand that because you
your
know what,
turd
the
will be
distraction
infinite.
of having to go and you're tripping, it won't work. I don't know. So then she goes, I got to shit, I got to throw up. So here she gave the advice. So she goes, get me back to the room. So she goes, you got to, so get out. I need the room. So we leave her there, and she's, probably doing what she's got to do. And then the phone battery died. I go to charge it. Get out of here! Stone, open the fucking light. And so we had to stand by the door.
Wait,
So
sorry,
we're
no,
getting
you got to
chilly.
back up because something
I'm
shifted
lost.
there.
You
You're-
just-
I'm with you the entire way.
There's people attacking you now. We don't. I don't know.
So I would try to come in the hotel room I paid for
Right.
to charge my battery.
Right.
Okay.
And she goes, get the fuck out of
Who
here.
said that?
The mushroom coach.
The mushroom coach.
Now known as the deuce dropper.
Yes.
Oh, because she didn't want. Because
She was freaking out.
Okay.
What about the other
She
girl?
was freaking out. She was okay. We were both like, we didn't know it was getting dark and chilly and was standing outside the door and we're not allowed in. So we couldn't, I guess it didn't work because we were like, we got to save the coach. And so I didn't have any, the only realization I had was the comedian I was with. I go, you look like Bonnie McFarlane. I would never realize
It's
that.
a realization.
Yes, that was the only thing that I realized.
And it was Bonnie
But
McFarlane.
you did live through, although no one would pay money for this, the experience of, what would I do if I was in charge of a person that I thought was supposed to be in charge of me?
Yes.
That's a fucking valuable experience.
No, I felt very proud and machismo.
It's not
that,
birthday valuable. Like, I would have you have a better birthday.
No,
That's a-
it didn't. And I have to say, she's a sweet woman, and she was very ashamed. And so the woman, the other woman who was okay, she has a girlfriend that said, get down to wherever she lives. Where does Ray Donovan take place near Malibu? I forgot.
in a world where secrecy is your last option. I don't know.
So her girlfriend kept saying, get over here, and she didn't want to let her know she was stoned. She goes, I'm at a birthday party, and she didn't believe her, so we had to go to a restaurant and take pictures pretending
I
we
gotcha.
were there.
I think the beginnings of your stories have packets of information in them that I miss because I'm an afterglow from your last story.
Right.
So I think that's what it is, because you change locations and casts.
Yes, I was trying to say it was so crazy that the other woman, we were outside the door, afraid to go in, because she kept screaming, "Get out of here! I'm freaking out."
I just want to lay there.
Yes.
She didn't want to be with anybody while she was
was
freaking out
freaking
of
out.
mushrooms.
Yeah, that's
She
weird.
was-
I always make it everyone else's problem.
Right?
If I'm having a single issue
Yes.
with anything, I'm like, society is the first place I go.
So-
Wipe my ass on everything. That's why the election made me so upset. I'm like, I'm alone. I can't wipe my ass on anybody. They're all wiping their ass on each other. I was like, this is fucked up. I didn't mean to bring it back to that.
No, so that was the mushrooms on my birthday.
So you never tried mushrooms again?
No,
But
I'd like to.
What about
that
acid?
my bad mushroom chips are like when you have bad mushrooms, I got a pain in my neck, and I thought I looked in a mirror and I thought I was a walrus, and I like they're kind of like bad mushrooms, and so it's like it's basically
Oh.
like acid, but so there's still a
Psilocybin.
Yeah, I'll get it eventually. we'll edit it back in when we do the bad mic pass. But yeah, psilocybin.
Yeah.
Is that in acid or is that just in mushrooms?
No, acid's lysergic.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
by acid.
Okay.
Lysergic acid.
So mushrooms, they've researched. I guess I want to urge you, because you're fucking bold and badass, and a guy that says it's my 59th birthday, let's do mushrooms. Please do them again. I think you'll enjoy them very much.
What about acid? Do acid.
If people are microdosing now,
Microdose. Have you heard of
Microdose.
Yeah, it's
microdosing?
so good that his father's rehab center is doing. Do acid.
Don't do meth. Do acid.
Yeah, he's really become his father in his bad years. Do acid.
I mean, my dad's a Jew. Hoffman was a Jew. We're all Jews.
No, I'm not looking to do anything ridiculous, but I like expanding the mind. And
Have you done ecstasy, MDMA?
No.
That's really easy.
Yeah, that's a fun
that
one.
That kind of can't go wrong. If the kids are listening.
I was scared that I would do harm to my cat.
By over petting
cat.
it.
Like, you won't know.
Just pet him bone dry.
All right.
The cat's like, Jesus Christ, you have my number. You have the job. You give me food. I don't know what you ate tonight, but I was already at an equilibrium spot. We had a business going here. I miss my cat so much. I miss that kind of affection.
Oh,
the
my
kind
God.
You can't buy.
I lost two. One was 18, one was 19, and I wasn't going to get another. But someone got one from a shelter, and the other cat wasn't getting along. So I'm glad it happened. I mean, yeah, the cat is the...
I love my dogs, but I can't believe I got dogs. And I sit with them, and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, it's called nothing. You're supposed to enjoy it. They're like, just throw the thing. I'm like, if I throw it, you'll just bring it back.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, I will. No, they're not like, yeah. Because if they were like, yeah, then it'd be sentient. But they're like, no, throw it.
Damn.
And I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm from the future. Because my brain's bigger than a peanut.
Oh.
You're just going to keep bringing it back. And I'm telling you that you're never going to understand this as a species. It never gets any better than sitting under a tree, grooming another monkey, and waiting to die. And if a spotted leopard comes around, you go, and you all go to safety until the spotted leopard's gone. And that is where humans started fucking up, because we had nailed it. And then one was like, what if a spaceship? And we were like, you're great, Carl. But Carl's not bad either, because those chimps are going to die anyway. I'm sorry. I harp on this a lot. Like I
saw the documentary of Coco, the sign language in gorilla, with my friend. It was so cynical, going, there's all these theories. Coco didn't really know sign language. He's just copying, and really bothered me. You know what
your
Coco
friend
is?
bothered you, or
My friend bothered me that
he had to that
She was
his
disputing
cosmology
Coco.
was so specific that it was important to him that Coco not know sign language.
Coco's full of shit. Doesn't really sign.
That's really. I find myself wondering that all the time. Like when you're with somebody and you're like, wait, what's with the pushback at this point?
Yes.
You know,
like we got to
let's examine this. It's like
examine
a chiropractor.
Coco, and they had a 30-year scam that Coco was just copying, not really signing.
It's not even like I'm open to finding out that Coco's full of shit. Like I'm totally open to it. I find it weird when you meet the guy that's like, Coco's full of shit. And I know it. It's not a tested hypothesis. It's just a strong belief. Like, okay, so you're like the guy in Awakenings, but if you wanted monkeys to not talk, like, it's weird to have that strong an opinion, given that there's no stakes to being proven right.
Right.
The only thing that happens if you're proven right is
they got a documentary about Coco. Is what
like
they
the
got.
global. Like, remember, do you know Pat Sajak was like a global warming guy? Like Pat, that bummed me out so much. Like politics and the internet ruin everything. Turns out Pat Sajak is a global warming denier.
Oh wow!
And like his tweets at a certain point were like, "Follow the money, follow the money." Global warming. Yes. There's someone right now. Someone is making $1 billion by you believing the world is getting hotter. That's it's like a cartoon or a game show where people spell common phrases. So disappointing. You want Pat Sajak to walk off screen off a Wheel of Fortune. You want him to slide down a pole into like a den with a bear rug
with a martini
and solve crimes or something that are based on rudimentary English, like or just enjoy his life. I don't care if he jerks off in a bowl and drinks it. Like I want him to be happy. I want someone to affirm the myth of retirement to me. Why is it the higher you look, the less happy everybody is? Like what are these guys? Oh, Rupert Firemoon died today. He had 95 divorces. His face was a scowl. He owned 900,000 newspapers. He could tell 3 countries what to think, but it was no one ever saw mom smile, and he died. And like, where does it go? Where does David Hasselhoff was Knight Rider? He can't stop drinking long enough to go.
Well,
I was Knight Rider.
I thought he had the rights for the Baywatch he bought. I thought he made a lot of money.
I don't care about him. Because I'm looking for one person to show me the path, because otherwise it's me. I'm going like, okay, so I have to sit in my bed and I have to like just jerk off on my girlfriend, like and watch Star Trek.
You don't have to.
No, I'm saying if I want to win the game of life, the way I have to do it is not owning 9 airplanes. It is like exactly what I have right now. And then you go, okay, so now I wait to die. That's not fun. I don't want to
No. Expand your horizons.
because Fred Stoller's like, let me do mushrooms. I want to, okay.
Let me ask you, and again, I don't mean to.
I want to check this. I wouldn't. Okay.
I know you're
No, we fucking nailed it. I think we just had our first perfect show. I was just looking for the first time
Now,
at the clock.
And you were here. You were here.
I'm not depressed these days because I like being creative. I'm not being an asshole plugging my stupid Kindle singles and books.
Oh, yeah. Let's plug your book for sure.
It's called 5 Minutes to Kill. It's about the 1989 Young Comedian special. You guys, I don't know if you remember, HBO used to have these big young comedian specials where a lot of people were launched. And I wrote about the one I was on because I found it interesting, the trajectory and the diversity of the careers and lives. 2 of them made it big, Rob Schneider and David Spade. They were discovered from the Young Comedian special. 2 of them had tragedies, Warren Thomas and Drake Sather.
Oh, Warren Thomas was the best.
Yeah. And one woman, she's beautiful, she's struggling. So I kind of interviewed widows and people, and it's like those like 30 by 30s. Like this is a college team they were all supposed to be pros, 2 made it, 2 didn't. So
is this you checking in with?
It starts in 1989 with 6 young, hopeful people, and I wasn't so young even in 1989 as a comedian, but this is our big break, the Young Comedian special, and then what happens right away, Schneid and... you
can call him Schneid here.
Schneid. Combine them, Schneid and Spader.
Of course, Schneid gets his break.
They get their breaks, and Warren Thomas had an opportunity to be on Saturday Night Live as the black guy. I'm looking at you, and it's so sticky.
Was Warren Thomas did he have a like Mike Tyson impression?
Yes.
I'm
going to put my dick in the butter jar.
Put my dick in the butter.
Yeah, so he was this guy that... there's a thing on Saturday Night Live.
But I think you're talking about the exact special that I remember. I'm like 15, or I don't know. Okay, 19 in Milwaukee. I don't know. It's like
and then it's HBO.
Yeah.
Was it the HBO comic specials?
Yes.
And it was yeah. Okay,
me, Rob Schneider, David Spade, Drake Sather, and Jan Karam. Jan Karam was a precursor to all the beautiful like Whitney Cummings and Sarah and women who were hot. And she was really beautiful, but she didn't own her hotness, like, hey, I'm making guys come. I'm not saying they do those jokes, but
like sort of like Keitlinger.
Yeah, that kind of type of stuff. So she was really ahead of her time in that way with comedy. So I follow from after our quote unquote break. Warren Thomas, when there's a ritual I didn't know about that when you meet Lorne Michaels, he makes you wait like 4 hours. It's just an initiation, and he said, "Fuck this," and he left. And it ended up going to Chris Rock, that spot. So it just takes us to 2017, following the triumph and the tragedy of the 6 people on it, including myself.
That's great. I don't have to pronounce it. That sounds great.
Maybe you do. I forgot. Oh yeah. And my Seinfeld year was so what I'm trying to say is I'm happiest being creative and just writing things in my own voice. So the theory I have is, and maybe antidepressants help, but no, I'm happiest when I'm being creative, not trying to fit into puzzles. Is that depression serves a purpose because then you're not afraid to die, and we're all going to die. So I wonder if depression.
So exciting to hear you talk. That's why you need to be pitching television shows. But none of you.
But when I'm depressed, I'm more in tune, because when I'm really depressed, I go, why am I wasting time with Twitter and Instagram? I'm more in tune and in touch and in reality. So maybe depression is the real thing we're supposed to be, I wonder, because now I don't want to die, and I'd be afraid to. No, I don't want to, which is good, right?
This is the
But
thing
maybe, but I'm very depressed. I'm not afraid of it. I welcome it. So maybe depression makes more sense. Does this make sense?
Well, depression is practical.
Yes.
It is certainly, it is more practical than avoiding it, than thinking that it's wrong.
And
Because
everything's great.
You might be, let's say there's two types of something for once in our lives. I know we hate saying there's two types of things. Let's say there's two types of depression, and let's say that the two types of depression are unfucking controllable biochemical depression, where, as we all know, if you're in a bad mood and you get a flat tire, your flat tire is the end of your world. If you're in a good mood and you get a flat tire, it's kind of funny you get a flat tire.
Right.
If you're in a good mood and you win $500 in a scratch off, it's fucking fantastic. If you're in a bad mood and you win $500 in a scratch off, it's like evidence that capitalism has its hopes in you, and so on and so forth. Like mood matters more than fact, especially when you relate it to fact. So fuck, I forgot why I was talking about this. Why I got all excited.
But is it more practical?
Because if you
to not be afraid of death, if you'd be depressed.
If whether or not whichever of those things are true, whether you are biochemically uncontrollably depressed, or whether it's actually there's the other
situational,
thing, which is kind of yeah, you know what? There's been 5 bad things that have happened, and it's kind of hard to be in a good mood today. And I was being glib when I said there was two kinds, because it's a combination of things. It doesn't matter. Your bad mood still means the exact same thing, and committing to your bad mood is still practical. The problem is when people connect factuality to their mood.
Right.
When you say, regardless of the cause of your bad mood, when you say that because of your bad mood, you need to do something, and we all know what the stuff you want to do when you're in a bad mood is, but this is something that we overlook a lot. When you think that that you're in a bad mood because of the shit that happened to you recently, because of everything that your life has been, those are big mistakes. You're connecting shit that may be correlative, but it's not cause-effective. And that's why. But if you can just go, I am in a bad mood. Here's how I feel when I'm in a bad mood. I feel like this. Yeah. And you write it down, or just feel it so much that you create any kind of snapshot with it. I'm telling you, that snapshot is as valuable to humanity as a photograph from an oceanographer of the Marianas Trench. Because you might be experiencing depths that are no deeper than the person that never went deeper, but you're experiencing depths from an angle that has never been seen. And we need, before we all die, when we will probably die by our own hand, so no matter how depressed you get, why bother killing yourself when you know humanity will do that for you? Leave it to them. It's the one area of human society that you can leave to the customer service department. They'll get around to it. You don't have to do it, but I'm not saying logic is a reason to not hurt yourself. I'm just saying when you're at that point when it feels like you have no course of action other than something, I'm telling you, fucking wait it out. Because you are a sensor that has been shot from God, to look at that spot. It's the spot that only you can see. It may seem unremarkable. No life grows there. It's jagged and unfriendly, and all it says to you is, fuck you, you shouldn't be here. Well, that's the whole point of a probe.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be there, and you won't be there at some point. You will get out of there, and you will be stronger, and the people around you will be stronger because you got down there and you saw that shit, and you lived down there, Fred Stoller.
No,
you were a Marianas Trench cruiser.
My God.
Church.
To make it to I was out here every day, you're just cruising through the fucking depths, the lowest places that the ocean can afford. That's valuable data to everybody.
No,
it's going to end up making Jared Kushner live a more fruitful life. He's going to be on his elliptical, and he's going to be like, I learned from Fred that there's a new way to describe the feeling you have when watermelon makes you feel bad.
No, it's drugs.
I kind of lost it at the end there because
That's why drugs. I get things, but I can't articulate it. That's why this guy's amazing. You can articulate.
Because I can
things.
articulate nothing. I'm like a box, and if a breeze blows through it, it sounds like something's being said. So when you hold it up to anyone, but you have to hold it up at a distance. Yeah. All right. Well, we should end our show. I got real drunk during it because I love listening to you.
Oh, yeah.
And like so. What's the book? Tell us the book again so we can like get off this podcast and go get it.
It's called 5 Minutes to Kill. There's a subtitle they came up with, how the HBO Young Comedian special changed the lives of 1989 6 funniest people. They came up with.
Okay. Well, it sounds like they're okay.
It's $1.99, but it's legit.
I can't wait to read the book by their marketing department called Refining the Key to Killing Something. Because whatever it's called, whether it's grapes or celery, it should be short, and we should remember it.
5 minutes to kill.
5 minutes to kill.
Forget the other part.
Please tell your publisher to stop doing that. Fred Stoller, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Brandon Johnson was your comptroller. Ori's going to come back with his dad, and we're going to connect about this very common story about fathers and sons. You drift apart, then you come back. I want to be there and collect the loose change that hits the floor.
For sure.
Steve Levy, you did so good in Spencer's job.
By not saying anything?
Yeah.
All right.
Wow. It's great. But you scheduled something for tomorrow. I'm supposed to just write another show.
Yeah.
I'll just write another show tomorrow.
Yes.
While everyone else is memorializing things.
Yeah, but then you get to celebrate Memorial Day with an AAA celebrity tomorrow night.
Triple A.
Vin
Diesel?
I'm having Andy Kindler guilt for those comments. But
Oh, come on! I already met him.
I don't know.
He doesn't even like me. I don't even know what to. That's a.
He
mix-up.
clearly does.
I'm gonna
He
explain it's a mix-up.
Could be anybody.
All right.
now
Cancel
it's
all of it, but no, don't. The guy, the A-list guy, he'll think it's a famous prank. All right. Rap. Give me a rap beat. I'm gonna rap. But then Fred, when I point at you, you have to you have to just say what you're say. Just be my Fred Stoller inner voice. Be my Fred Stoller inner voice.
Do we have a track?
I can make one in GarageBand.
You're not ready yet, Liberace. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Little volume,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Heard him, Dan.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh Lord. Oh God above. I pray for the strength.
Yeah.
Fuck, I pray for chord length. Yo. I pray for your strength. I pray in church. I pray for more chord length. I want the insulation and the 60 cycle hum. I want your mama and your daddy to say, drum, 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 from the savage to the collaborative. Our society's got nothing to give when it grows from one strong chimp to a bunch of simple shit that goes beyond limp and across the space to the moon, and then you don't go back. Why don't we live in there? Did we have an attack of neuroses? Are we not going places that we need to be?
intimidated by the crowd. I thought they wanted to hear sci-fi animation stuff. And they go, who's this fucking older guy? He's sort of familiar, but I think they like some of the stuff, maybe the writing, Seinfeld, I don't know.
Oh, yo, give me the strength. Give me some of that chord length. Yo, I went into a car and I drove to a tar pit. I saw the dinosaur and more. I went down into it and I said, I'm now extinct like you. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna eat you up, but you're covered in tar, so you taste worse than a candy bar. But when you're in my stomach, I'll take you far into the reaches of the place where carbon-based life couldn't reach.
I'm glad my relatives are older and don't listen to this podcast. I'm nervous that they're going to hear about mushrooms and spending money at Malibu. Freddie, you have the money? Why'd you do that? She took advantage. They're strangers.
Stars, cosmic stars, stardust from Mars goes down on your planet, and you know, no matter how hard you plan it, you can't make a motherfucking thing happen to you that wasn't gonna happen to you. I've had a dick and it was a flag. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm so drunk I can't lag from my rapping and my rhyming. Won't fuck a mama tonight. Mike equals voices in my mind tonight. I gotta stay on the flow. I gotta rap down and low. I'm thinking about it too hard. Get out of my yard. This is a rap. I'm rapping.
Confident now after doing tonight. Gonna go home without the GPS. Make my way back to Cantor's, get some food. That's how confident I am. I'll find Cahuenga somehow without the GPS. I'll do it. Maybe I got some tweets. I haven't checked my thing in like 2 hours. This is great. Longest I've gone.
All right, Fred Stoller, everybody. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for coming. Brandon Johnson, Zach McKeever, Sarah Hill. I'm too drunk. Do you remember anybody that works on the show?
I think you nailed it.
Okay. There's somebody back there. Chris Baruff, who does everything. Thank you so much. Thank you. Just pretend you kept clapping longer.
Make some noise. Good night, Burbank. This has been Harmontown. Drive fast. Live fast. Drive faster.
Did you get any of that?
It's a good show.